There's great pressure in Europe to legalize euthanasia. Why should Christians be concerned about this? Well, fundamentally, of course, because we believe that human beings are made in the image of God and that it is wrong to take the life of an innocent human being intentionally, even if that person requests it. It's against the sixth commandment. But also there are good reasons, which I believe are based on Scripture, that will connect with our post-Christian society. And I think there are fundamentally four reasons. First of all, if you change the law to allow euthanasia, you inevitably place pressure on vulnerable people to end their lives. Those who are elderly, depressed, or demented will feel under pressure to end their lives so as not to be a burden upon others. And so a law stopping euthanasia protects people from exploitation and abuse. Secondly, it's impossible to frame a law that won't be subject to extension, what we call incremental extension, what some people call the slippery slope. And that's because however you frame it, let's say, okay, it's for terminally ill adults who are mentally competent. What happens inevitably, and we see this in the jurisdictions that have changed the law, is that there is pushing of the envelope, incremental extension. So you allow it for adults, there's pressure for children. If you allow it for terminal illness, there's pressure for chronic illness. If you allow it for physical illness, there's pressure for mental illness. You cannot frame a law that will not be extended. And that's because the major arguments for euthanasia, which are about autonomy, free will, and compassion, apply much more widely than those limited circles. The third reason is that we can do better with good palliative care, that we should be instead addressing the symptoms that are prompting the request for euthanasia. So treating people's pain or anxiety, or often it's loss of hope or loss of faculties, what we call, in a sense, existential problems or spiritual problems. We should not be providing medical solutions to what are really spiritual problems. And when we look after people properly, the requests for euthanasia are extremely rare indeed. And then finally, we have a law which works. The best laws are those which have an absolute ban on euthanasia. Because on the one hand, the penalties that they hold in reserve provide a very powerful disincentive to people exploiting or abusing others. They make them think twice. But also, the laws we have in Europe give some flexibility and discretion to judges and prosecutors and help them to temper justice with mercy in hard cases. There are limits to human freedom. That's why we have laws. Every single law stops some people doing what they would like, but we have laws because in having limits to personal freedom, we respect the reasonable freedoms of others, and particularly those who can be exploited or abused or who are vulnerable. So it's about protecting the vulnerable, it's about stopping incremental extension, it's about seeking a better way through good care, and it's about recognizing that actually the laws we have today, which are based on Scripture, are the best laws that we could possibly have in a fallen world.